What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to a new edition of a reoccurring series on the channel. We've got 2025 draft profiles, starting off with an offensive tackle this time. Last time we started off with J.J. McCarthy, and it's a little bit different this time. It is Gray Zabel from North Dakota State, the offensive tackle who has played a lot of positions there at North Dakota State. He has been excellent for the Bison, and he has been pretty high up, I would say, on some boards. He's been around the 30s, 40s in the big boards. I know he's, I believe, 39 on Pro Football Focus, but he has been great to watch. I think he's a very good, talented offensive lineman who's absolutely physical. And I mean, why not just hop into it and let's talk about my strengths, weaknesses, where I think he's going to go, and what could be the best teams for him. Before we get started with this draft profile, I just want to mention, if you enjoy my content and you aren't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate it if you just hit the subscribe button. It's free, helps me out a ton, and let's get back to the video. Now we're going to start off here with just, his vitals. He's 6'6", 305 pounds. He's been at North Dakota State since 2020, and he's played all different positions on the offensive line. He's played both sides of the tackles, both guards, and, he's kind of being expected, or maybe might be moved to center if the right team drafts him, but he hasn't really had that much experience at center. He still could possibly play it, as he is very versatile, and that will get us into our strengths, which will start with his versatility. He's got great versatility. He's able to play all different positions. It's almost honestly unreal how he's able to do that. He's able to move around with ease on the offensive line, and then also on the top of that, his natural power is fantastic. It's unreal. I mean, this dude's just able to push people back with ease, push them down the field on run plays, and really just keep people off of the quarterback in pass pro, which leads to his excellent pass pro. He's got great patience when he has his kick step and drops back into pass pro. I think it was about 900 snaps. Don't quote me on that. I don't fully remember. Has only allowed one sack on the year. I think that is very impressive, if you ask me. If I can give you the full stats right now, 910 full offensive snaps, 424 pass block snaps, and he's allowed one sack, 2 QB hits, and 3 hurries. That's a very, very, very impressive stat line for an offensive lineman, despite being in the FCS or not. I think that's something you can't really discredit him for. Another thing I do want to mention is his third highest grade of the season is against Colorado, which I just noticed. But anyways, going on to what I'm continuing on with Gray Zabel. His maintenance of leverage and his ability to maintain his leverage is something that I think is very good for an offensive lineman, and he's been very impressive in that category. On the O-line, I mean, this guy's got a lot to him. He's a very skillful offensive lineman. And, no player is perfect, so obviously players got their weaknesses. I got a couple noted down here for Gray Zabel. He lunges towards defenders on runs. Those run plays, where he tends to push them vertically, you can see that he kind of lunges his body, or throws his body at the defender, because obviously he's a big guy. You're going to want to put all that weight on the defender, and that's going to make the defender kind of struggle to get past you. But if he's putting too much weight on the defender, that can really, that lunge in the NFL could really be utilized for the defense to attack and be able to shut down the run, or, shut down a screen or something like that. It's something that can be used against him if he doesn't, it's kind of like an Olay, almost like an Olay, but it's something that can be used against him. And then shorter arms at tackle. His arms aren't the longest. I'm not saying they're dino arms, but that could possibly make his draft stock go down a little bit if he wants to stay at tackle because of his arms. NFL GMs really do love the long-armed prospects playing at tackle. And then, maybe not the super long arms in the interior, just because, off the edge, you want to be able to get your arms out and on that edge rusher as soon as you can, because they can be playing, the 9. They can be playing really far out and causing a lot of harm off the edge if you're not able to get your hands out and, underneath his pads to be able to get that block. get the block for pass pro, and then obviously you've got his recovery speed is something I noticed. He didn't get beat much this year. He doesn't really get beat, but when he does, his recovery speed is a little limited. It's something that worries NFL GMs. You got to have a guy who, if he does get beat, he's got to be able to recover. And that's something that he might need to improve on, especially because you're going to be playing against NFL defensive linemen who are, big veterans, and they've been doing this for a long time. So that's his third weakness that I pointed out. Now, with that being said, we've looked at his strengths, we've looked at his weaknesses, his natural power, his pass pro ability, his leverage maintaining, and his versatility being big strengths, and then his weaknesses being that he lunges towards defenders on run plays, his shorter arms at the tackle position, and his recovery speed is kind of limited when it comes to getting beat on pass pro. But what does that mean? What does that place Gray Zabel when it comes to draft day? Is he going to be a top first round pick, a top pick, a third day pick, an undrafted free agent? For me, I think that means he is a day 2 grade. That's what I give him, a final grade of day 2. I haven't really made a big board yet. I'm getting there. I actually do want to release a big board for everyone to see what I think truly in this draft. I think that he'll probably end up somewhere in the 40s. That's where a lot of people have him. I think he's going to be great. He could be an early day 2, maybe a late day 2. I expect him to be gone in the first 2 rounds from what I'm seeing. Obviously, they've got another game with the FCS national title coming up. But yeah, I think he's going to be a great day 2 pickup for a team. And then, you got to think about it. What teams could really use a guy like Gray Zabel? And that's where I go and move on to. I got 3 teams here. I got the Patriots, I got the Seahawks, and I got the Texans. And my reasonings for this: Patriots need help anywhere on that offensive line. I'm assuming that if they keep the first pick, they will likely be taking a guy like Travis Hunter at first overall. The guy that they need for wide receiver. Wide receiver is a big need. Corner could, get another corner to help out that defensive back core. So getting an offensive lineman is a necessity. He could play anywhere for the Patriots, and that's their big thing. Get a guy to protect Drake May, and that's what Gray Zabel could do for him. And then next one, Seattle. They need that interior offensive line bad. I do expect them to take a guy like Ariante Ursary in the first round. But if they are to need a tackle in the second or third round, this guy could fit that box. They could fill in that position for the Seattle Seahawks and really be able to help out the Seahawks immediately and at the interior line. And then finally, as well, I've got the Houston Texans, who I do believe I had them taking an interior defensive lineman in the first round in my last mock. So, they need help in the interior as well. Zabel could move it to offensive guard, and he could be some big help to protect C.J. Stroud, and make sure that offense can get back to what they were last year and really succeed in the league. So those are my 3 biggest team fits, I would say. There's a couple other teams I could think of, but those are the 3 that I wanted to point out the most that could really use Gray Zabel and his abilities. So that's going to wrap up our first scouting report and draft profile of the 2025 draft. Obviously, the season's not over yet, so we've got a lot to come. I was excited to start with an offensive lineman. I think I wanted to do guys like J.C. Latham last year. Some of the guys that went later, like Mason McCormick I believe Mason McCormick from South Dakota State, and then some other ones like Zach Frazier. So getting to start with Gray Zabel was great, and I just want to mention, if you go through all this whole video and you aren't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you did. It's free, helps me out a bunch, and let me know who you want to see in the comment section below. If you want to hear my thoughts on any more players at this position, or you want me to switch to a different position, So that'll be it for us today, and I hope you enjoyed our first draft profile of the 2025 NFL Draft, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.